Welcome again to the continuation on the solutions to the B.E.C.E 2024 mathematics questions. In the previous videos, we started solving the B.E.C.E 2024 mathematics questions, which is the theory part, and we've already solved the question 2 and question 3 in the previous videos, and I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. So this is a continuation to solve the question 1 with you. As you can see from the board, I've written the question 1 on the board, and I will encourage you to do well to watch the previous video so that at least you can learn something from it. And also, please don't forget to like the videos and also share them after watching. And if you are watching for the first time, please do well to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question that I have on the board, and it's a question on probability. And I know that I've not taught you probability, we've not done any video on it, but I still want to go ahead and solve the question with you. And later on, we are going to take probability as a full topic and treat it into details. Okay, but in this video, I just want to solve the question with you, and you don't need to worry because I'm going to explain it. So all that you need to do is to follow the explanation that I'm about to give, and you will definitely understand it. Okay, so just focus and pay attention to the explanation, and you are going to get a perfect understanding of it. So let's go ahead and read the question together. Okay, so the question says that a fair die and a fair coin are thrown together once. I write down a set of all possible outcomes. I find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Okay, so I'm going to read it one more time, then we can proceed, okay, and solve it. Now it says that a fair die and a fair coin are thrown together once. I write down the set of all possible outcomes. I find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Okay, so as you can see, it's a question on probability. Okay, and probability simply refers to the likelihood of something happening. Okay, that's it about probability. The I part of the question says that we should write down the set of all possible outcomes. Okay, now the question says that a fair die and a fair coin are thrown together once, and I need to explain that to you. Okay, now I hope you all know a die. Okay, so when you take a die has 6 faces which has been numbered 1 up to 6. Okay, so when you take a fair die and you throw it once, you are likely going to get a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Okay, so these are the possible outcomes that you are going to get when you throw a fair die once. I hope you agree with me up to this point. I'm going to repeat it one more time. When you pick a fair die and you throw a fair die once, you are likely going to get either a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. And these are the possible outcomes of throwing a fair die once. Okay, now when we take a coin also, a coin has 2 sides, which is the head and the tail. Now usually we use a capital H to represent the head and a capital T to represent the tail. So when you toss a coin once, you are likely going to get either a head or a tail. Okay, so these are the possible outcomes of tossing a fair coin once. I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so keep in mind that when you take a fair die and you throw it once, the possible outcomes is going to be 1 to 3 up to 6. And when you take a fair queen and you toss it once, the possible outcomes is going to be either a head or a tail. Now the question is saying that a fair die and a fair queen are thrown together once. Okay, what it means is that for us to get the outcomes, okay, the total outcomes of throwing a fair die and a fair queen together once, it means that when we pick the outcomes of throwing a fair die once, and also when we pick the outcome of throwing a fair queen once, when we pair them, then it's going to give us the total outcome of throwing a fair die and a fair queen together once. I hope you agree and you understand up to this point. Okay, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Okay, so now all that I'm saying is that when you take a die, I've explained the outcome of throwing a fair die once to you, which is 1 to 3 up to 6. And also when you toss a coin, you are going to get head and tail. The question says a fair die and a fair coin are thrown together once. So it means that for us to get the possible outcome of throwing a fair coin and a fair die together once, it means when we pick the outcomes of throwing a fair die once and also the outcome of tossing a fair coin once, when we pair them, then it's going to give us the total outcomes of throwing a fair die and a fair coin together once. I hope you understand up to this point. So now for us to proceed, we are going to draw a table. Okay, we need to draw a table that will help us to be able to get the outcomes. Okay, so I'm going to write down my solution, okay, and we are going to do it together. Okay, so let me draw my table so that we can get our outcomes. Okay, so this is my table. Okay, I hope you are following. Okay, so now you draw your table like this. Then the outcome of throwing a fair die once is going to come at the top, okay, at the horizontal part of the table, okay, and always you need to leave one space here, which is very important. Okay, you don't start from here. Always you need to leave one space there. So we are going to start from here. So we are going to put our outcome for tossing a fair die once there, which is 1 to 3 up to 6. Okay, so my 1 is going to be here. Here will be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and also the outcome for tossing a fair coin is head and tail, and that is going to come at the vertical part of the table. Okay, so here will be head and here will be tail. Okay, don't forget I said that always you need to leave a space here. Okay, that's how you go about it. So now for us to get our outcomes, okay, when I take the head here, I'm going to use it to pair all the numbers at the top, then I'll write it down. And also when I take the tail as well, I'm going to use it to pair all the numbers at the top. That's how you pair them. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it together. So when I take the H here, I'll pair it with the 1, so I'll get head 1. When I take the H here, which is the head, I'll use it to pair it with the 2, which will be head 2, in that order. So I'm going to get head 3, head 4, head 5, and head 6. I hope you understand up to this point. We are going to do the same thing for the tail as well. I'm going to use it to pair the numbers. So I'm going to get tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, and tail 6. Okay, so these are the possible outcomes of throwing a fair die and a fair coin together once. Okay, so you are going to get 12 outcomes. Okay, let's count it and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, you can see. So these are the outcomes of throwing a fair die and a fair coin together once. I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so the I part of the question has been answered. The I part says you should write down the set of all possible outcomes. So this is the I part. Okay, so now let's look at the I part. Okay, the I part says that find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Okay, now I need to explain what a prime number is to you, okay, so that we can use it to answer the question. A prime number simply refers to any number which has only two factors. Again, a prime number refers to any number which has only two factors, which is 1 and the number itself. Okay, that's a prime number. And the question is saying we should find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Okay, meaning that you need to get a prime number attached to a tail. Okay, that's it. But before we proceed, I need to explain something about probability to you. Now, when it comes to probability, any question that they are asking you, okay, for example, this one we are being asked to find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Okay, so with probability, it's always what they are asking you all over the total outcome. Okay, the total outcome is also the same as the sample space. Okay, so when they ask you a probability question, it's always what they are asking you all over the total outcomes, which is the same as the sample space. And we know that the total outcome here is 12. Okay, so it's the same as the sample space, which is 12. I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so now the I part says we should find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. And I've explained to you what a prime number is. Okay, and also you know a tail. Okay, so it means that we are supposed to get a prime number being attached to a tail. So let's go to the outcomes and pick those values out. Okay, so now I'm going to write the probability of, the P means probability. Okay, P means probability. The bracket means of. So probability of obtaining, this is how to present your answer. The probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. Then you close your bracket. Okay, this is how you put it. Okay, equals to, let me continue from here. I think I can continue from here. Okay, so now we are going to go to the table and pick out those values. Okay, so a prime number and a tail. So now, of course, it means that the head part is not going to be considered, okay, because you want a prime number attached to a tail. So the head part of the outcomes is not going to be considered. So let's consider only the tail part. Okay, when I come to the tail part, I have a tail here and 1. 1 is not a prime number. Okay, so we cannot consider that one to be part. We come here, I have a tail and a 2. 2 is a prime number. I hope you agree with me. And also we have a tail attached to it. So the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail, we can consider this one. Okay, so let me circulate. This one is part. Then let me come to this one. We have tail and 3. 3 is also a prime number. Okay, so we have tail and 3. So this one can also be considered. Then we have tail and 4. Now 4 is not a prime number. Okay, so we cannot consider that one. And we count. This one we have a tail and 5. Now 5 is also a prime number. So we can consider it. So being attached to tail. So we can consider this one. Okay. Now we have a tail and 6. 6 is not a prime number. So this cannot be part. Okay. So now how many values are we getting? 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 3 all over the total outcome. Don't forget, I said to you that probability is always what they are asking you all over the total outcome, which is the same as the sample space. Okay, so I'm going to get 3 over 12. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point, which can be simplified further. Okay, so when we simplify the 3 over 4, we are going to get the 3 over 12, we are going to get 1 over 4, okay, and this becomes our final answer. Okay, so that's the answer to the question. Find the probability of obtaining a prime number and a tail. The answer is 1 over 4. And I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. So this is how to handle probability question of this nature. Okay, please don't forget to like the video and also share the video as well. I'll see you again in another video whilst we solve the other questions. And please don't forget, if you are watching for the first time, please follow the page for me and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye bye.